Hey, scrappy people. Traci Reed here today with day 9 of 2022, a December daily. And today I'm going to be doing a story about hanging up Christmas lights outside for the first time in 5 years and comparing that to the last time I hung up Christmas lights which was when we lived in California. So I haven't hung up Christmas lights since we moved to Tennessee for a lot of reasons, but I want to tell that story. So today I'm going to be using the All Is Bright collection, specifically because I wanted to use this card, which seems appropriate for the subject matter. And yeah, I'm going to be doing, obviously this is pretty much done. I might add some of these Christmas lights, pop them up and make them interesting. I don't know, because some of them cut kind of funky, so it might not look great. I'll play around with that and decide, but I'm going to do a 5 by 8.5 layout on this side because I have a photo going on the other side that is that size, and I want to have a little bit of a flip up as per usual to hide my journaling. So I'm going to have this photo on the bottom, this photo over the top of it, and we are going to just have this one's 2015 and this one's 2022. So the story is going to go here. I'm probably going to print out this card with journaling on it, but the story is going to go here. And I also want to incorporate the tag from the All Is Bright collection. I might ink this up and make it colorful. Not sure. There's a lot of color going on. I have a lot of I'm not sures with this page. I also thought maybe I would back it with one of these transparencies because it has a transparency over here as well. But I'm going to contemplate while I start designing, and we will figure it out together. All right, so I'm gonna warn you now, I'm a bit sick, so that's reflected in my voiceovers and also in my lack of brain function while I make these layouts. So I'm functioning on a little bit lower of a level. I'm a little slower. It is what it is. I'm still powering through getting these layouts done so I don't get behind, because I still have last year that I haven't even finished. And looking back at the photos from last year, I have no idea what's going on. I don't even have a photo a day. It's like I just totally gave up on December daily. And so I don't want to do that this year, so I'm just powering through. So I'm going to create a little flip up for this page, and I want the current photo to be on top, of course, and then sort of cover up the bottom photo, but I still want it peeking out so that you can see that there's like something underneath there. So I created this flip up with a 3x4 card because with a 3x4 card, there's a little bit more room than if I had just matted the photo the way that it was. I get a little bit more like of a tab down there at the bottom to add things to. And my original idea was to just decorate down there on that bottom tab, but I end up going in a different direction, which of course makes everything that I'm doing right now moot. But that's okay. We come back from it and we survive. So I'm using a cardstock hinge to create the flip up for this page, and I am just trying to make sure everything fits right and goes down perfectly in my compromised brain state. So I need a paper to mat this photo on because there's also going to be a lot of space at the top underneath, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So I thought maybe I would do double pink, this hot pink, and mat both photos with the same color. The problem is two things. One, I do really like the bottom photo matted on the pink, but when I get this together finally, I have that white strip there at the bottom of the top photo because I was intending on doing something other than what I did, but when I get it all put together, that white strip doesn't look great. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I will just add a larger pink mat to the top, like a 3x4 pink mat to the top, so that they're both matted in that hot pink, and just extend it lower. But I did not have a piece of that hot pink paper left to mat that top photo in the hot pink at the right size, so that was lovely. So instead, I go through quite a bit here, and I'm like looking through all these papers, and
the first thing I'm going to do is I really wanted to use that pink Santa hat paper from the Traveler's Notebook signatures, but there just wasn't enough contrast. There was way too much pink going on, so I decided to go with the green paper rather than the pink Traveler's Notebook signature. And then this is where it all starts to fall apart. I decide to put the years on the flaps. So I start here with 2015, and then when I go do this, I'm like, oh no, they both need to be a full solid color. So I didn't have enough pink left, so I decided to go with orange, which was actually a great idea because I think that it looks better than if they had both been pink. If they had both been pink, it would have been too much pink, and while it would have, matched or whatever, this contrast that the orange gives over the having two pinks really helps bring in that back paper too, because there's lots of orange on that back paper, but it just makes it more interesting looking, I think, than if I had gone with both pinks. So I'm putting this back together now with the orange, and I really like the way that looks. And now I have a solid color, or at least a solid-ish color, that I can stick my my date on, or my year on. So I'm going to put 2022 here. So that's 2 pages in a row in my album that have photos from a different year, which I think is interesting. I didn't really mean to have both pages back to back. It's just kind of the way that they worked out. I have a couple more stories that I want to tell that are like looking back like this, or comparing different seasons of our life. So I'm hoping to include a couple more of those in this page, or in this album, but 2 back-to-back is really interesting. So of course I'm going to use the Christmas lights. They not only match the theme of the page, but they match the left-hand side of the page as well. So I'm going to put them on both photos. Both photos are obviously of me hanging Christmas lights. One is on our house. This 2015 is in our house in California, the year that we moved in. And then, of course, this year is our new house. So we lived in our home in California until 2017. Then we moved here and rented a home for 5 years before we bought the house that we are in today. And the whole story is about how when we lived in the house that we were renting, it never really felt like home enough to me to bother with hanging outdoor lights. And this year I really, really wanted to hang outdoor lights. We live in a condo now, which is actually great for us because we don't like taking care of the yard and all of that stuff. But so I only have the patio that I can really hang lights on. But I wanted to hang the lights on the patio in our own little private backyard area. And it was interesting to me as I was noting that was something that I wanted to do, that it was something that I wanted to do, because I had not had that desire to do that in 5 years. So I thought that was a really great story to tell. And so I took the photo, obviously, just in order to tell this story. All right, so I've got the lights and the dates on both flaps now. Now I get to figure out how to make these 2 pages look like a full spread and not 2 pages. So I'm going to add in a few of these word bits that I have pulled aside already that I thought would work for this page. So I have this light up the night. And then I have another one that I'm going to put on the other side because I want to make sure that there's not too much of a gap at the top there. So I decided I want to add this little black tree because it would bring in some black from the other side. And for some reason I just really like these little black and white trees from the All Is Bright collection. I think they're fun. I'm going to put it under my date, so I got to pull the letters off, or the numbers off, and put them back on. I do that quite a few times with both days. And then I'm going to put this All Is Bright underneath here to match. The All Is Bright is actually from the digital kit. Again, I say quite often that the digital kit elements are totally, absolutely printable. They just don't come on printable sheets because they are meant for digital scrapbooking, but that doesn't mean that they're not printable. You can print your own, you can create your own sheet in either like a Photoshop or even in Microsoft Word to print your bits and pieces from the digital kit. The title that I'm going to use with those festive lights are also from the digital kit. There's some fun titles in that as well. So I decided to make the whole page a title. So I'm saying making spirits bright, and I'm adding with these white foam thickers. And I am going to put the other side, or put the other half of the title on the other side, and it's going to say making spirits bright with festive lights. And you can see how these black backed titles really bring the left hand side to the right hand side and sort of draw the whole spread together, making it look cohesive and just fun. I like how the black really interacts with all of those colors, and it's just pretty to me. So I'm going to put this festive lights. So I think that it reads right as well because festive lights is sort of on the same plane as with. I kind of wish that the festive lights was a little bit smaller to match the size of the Traveler's Notebook signature, but I wasn't going to reprint it to make it smaller. So I also have these glittery or faux glittery snowflakes from the collection, from the digital kit, that I am going to add as well, just to add a little bit more black here and to incorporate the background and the foreground together on this side. I felt like I just kind of had it sitting on top here, and I wanted it to look like a I don't know, just create clusters, I guess, just to pull the whole photo area into the background, make it look like a completed page rather than a bunch of papers sitting on top of each other. So I thought that this was a fun way to do it. This whole page feels really festive to me, I guess, so that was fun. Just going to add one up here as well, and then I can finalize this page. I thought that maybe I would add some texture to the page with some enamel dots in the center of these snowflakes. I really wanted to use this 9, but it just didn't work with the page setup, so I decided to go with something else instead. Gonna add some enamel dots to the center of these snowflakes, some matching ones. These are of course Cocoa Daisy enamel dots. I have 3 years worth of them now, so I can always find a color to match whatever it is I'm doing. Of course the blue on that sheet did not match, so I gotta find something a little bit lighter. There we go. I thought that those added a cute little pop to the snowflakes. And then I need to add a number 9 on here as well, so I'm going to find one. I felt like I had something going on here. I had trimmed the blue mat a little bit too short, so I didn't have any blue paper at the top of this card, so I just trimmed down the card slightly. And then I felt like there was a little, like a gap. So I'm going to add this 9 to the outside here. I really wanted to add it at the bottom of that, like where the orange is on that flap, but it just looked weird and lopsided. Thought maybe I could use this. Nope. Didn't look right. It was weird and lopsided with the 9 on the bottom. And of course here I'm peeling off chipboard because these are super thick chipboard pieces. So I thought about it, and instead I decided to go up at the top, even though it covers up more of those Christmas lights than I would have liked. I end up not seeing a lot of Christmas lights there. I mean, they're there, so like the idea of them is there, but you can't really see them too much. So I put it up there. Then I open up this flap and I'm like, there's still like this weird blank spot here. So what can I put at the top where there's that blank spot? So I find a little word bit that says twinkle lights, and of course it has more Christmas lights on it. I feel like it fills up that space perfectly and makes it feel less empty and weird up there. So I added it. And that is about it for this page. I really like the way it came out. It's a little bit, I feel like it's a simple page, but it took me a lifetime, and it's probably because I'm sick. But you know, it's just a fun little story to add to the album, and this through this lens of looking back comparison that I am going for. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram there. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link in the description box below to the blog post for this video. If you want the credits and the still images like for Pinterest, it's there. All right, I'll see you next time. Thank you.